you could get kidnapped right when you came out of the airport.
Welcome to our country, Papua New Guinea.
Program to PNC.
Welcome to Papua New Guinea, an amazing country on the second biggest island in the world. It has more than 900 languages and it is truly diverse, unlike any other place I've ever been. So in this video, I will tell you all the practical information. So let's get started. Let's start with visa for Papua New Guinea. So most countries qualify for e-visa, which you can apply online. So I applied, there was no complicated documentation, reservations or ticket required, no invitation either. And I got mine in 2 weeks. I've heard in some cases they are a little bit slow, so you can drop them an email and they're fairly quick to respond. If you don't get an e-visa, unfortunately, you will have to go and apply in person in the nearest consulate. Let's talk about money in Papua New Guinea. The currency here is called Kina and it is surprisingly not very colorful. I was expecting better from a country that has a really colorful culture. So it is really important that you keep cash with you at all times, and even more that you have some change with you, because a lot of the places will not have change. ATMs are not very common. There are only 3 banks here. I would recommend Westpac because they don't charge transaction fees. The other one charge 15 to 20 Kina per transaction. Card payments are not very common, unfortunately. You only do them in big establishments. For everything else, you will need cash. Another reason to keep plenty of change with you is that bank queues are massive, especially the ones outside ATMs, and the ATMs are locked after hours. Keep cash with you at all times. One more thing, a lot of places quote prices in dollars here, but you will be essentially paying in Kina unless you are at big resorts. Now, the million-dollar question, how expensive is Papua New Guinea? Well, it can be quite cheap or it can be really expensive. Finding the middle ground is quite hard here, to be honest. You can either go to international hotels where you'll find all the facilities, or you stay in like the homestays where you basically get pretty much the basics. So you have to choose, but you need to keep a hefty budget because you can't stay in the basic homestays most of the time. Some activities you can only do with resorts, etc. So you need to keep a decent amount of budget. I would say you need at least $2,000 to $3,000 for a week and a half trip here. That's the minimum. To move around within the country, sadly, the infrastructure is not very good, so you have to use the airlines. The flights are really expensive, they're constantly delayed, you cannot check in online for most of them, and there are a lot of changes. Keep some buffer for yourself. There are only 2 airlines. One is Air New Guinea, and that has most connections through Port Moresby, but for smaller connections, you have PNG Air. Taking a PMV in Papua New Guinea is an absolute must, and look, everyone's just so happy that you're here. To a really important question, everyone who comes there comes with like tour guides, mostly international companies, you know, they are siphoning a lot of money. The tour guides that I spoke to here, something that costs, you know, like $100, they quoted $1,500–$1,600 to me. So I would say if you get a good guide who's reasonable, do it through them. It is generally quite safe, as you can see from my videos. I've been traveling independently on my own. People are just absolutely incredibly amazing. I would personally say if you can get over your fear, if you can travel in PMVs, you can absolutely do this without a tour guide. But if you must hire a tour guide, I would recommend going with a local company, not an international one, so that people here can get the benefit of that and not just someone sitting in America or in Europe just doing an SEO on a website, taking all the money from these people. Let's talk about hotels in Papua New Guinea. So there's 2 ways you can do things here. The first one is ultra luxury. You will have all the resorts, international hotels on booking.com. You can easily book it or directly with them. The second option, if you're an independent traveler like me, it is quite a lot of work because you need to go to Google on the location and then you need to search for the guest houses, and a lot of the information on Google is wrong. So you need to check their Facebook pages, get the numbers, call them or email them, and that's how you get it. Unfortunately, that's how things work here, because these small hotels, either they don't know how to do these things, or they don't have internet, or they can't afford it, or it's really a big hassle to get money from abroad. Yeah, if you're an independent traveler, you have a bit of work cut out for you. Do you want to go through this trip without all the hustle? Don't forget to check out my website, because I can make it hustle-free for you. Language in Papua New Guinea, what a topic. So there are close to 900 languages in this incredibly diverse country. People grew up in like relative isolation and they speak different languages. Bridging language is Pidgin, and people who are associated with tourism speak fluent English. You'll also find English menus everywhere. It's written pretty much everywhere as well. And people speak some level of English, so you will have no problem at all. Let's talk about the people of Papua New Guinea, a topic really close to my heart. Without exaggeration, and after having traveled to pretty much every corner of the world, these are the nicest, kindest, sweetest people I have met anywhere on the planet. The moment you look at them, that big smile comes out. Often the beetle nut smile, but it is absolutely genuine and sincere. You honestly feel it in your heart. There's no ulterior motive. It's not because people are expecting you to give them money or anything, but they are genuinely happy that you're here. And they want to make sure that you are safe and you are, getting to your place fine. I had an entire village once walk more than a mile just to make sure that I get to my destination safely, just because it was getting a little bit dark. That's how amazing, that's how kind these people are. I mean, considering it's a country where more than 80% of the population lives in rural areas, and a lot of them eat only one meal a day, and most of them can't afford shoes. This is the level of sincerity. Honestly, I feel genuine warmth. I feel like my heart has healed by just coming across these people, and I'm so thankful that I've met these incredible people. They're also really misrepresented as violent, uncivilized. I mean, look at the culture they've created, the languages. They cannot be uncivilized. They are amazing. And there's violence between tribes, but that usually doesn't go to the foreigners. So there's petty crime, but other than that, people you will meet around will be absolutely nice. I also want to point one other thing, and I've seen people shoving massive cameras, during the festivals, when they go to their villages. Please don't do that. Don't direct them. You're here to look, enjoy, and learn, not to direct them. It's not easy to put on these huge costumes and perform an entire day out in the open, whether it is cold wind, rain, or it is, burning sunshine. Please be kind, please be respectful, and these people will bring you to a different world of intense kindness, because the money hasn't infected them just yet. I want to thank everyone I met here, and I'm just taking so much love back from here that it fills my heart with so much joy. I can't honestly describe it in words. Let's talk about safety in Papua New Guinea. You could get kidnapped right when you came out of the airport, and you'd be in jungle, people would be eating you. This is literally all the rubbish that I heard before I came to this country. As you can see right behind me and all around me, people here are generally really, really amazing. They're super sweet. Everyone comes, they welcome you, they offer you a handshake, and they try their best that you get to the right spot at the right time. But this is also a country where you expect the unexpected and you keep your wits about you. I would highly recommend you make a local friend, go around with them, or if you're too scared, hire a tour guide. See? People are amazing here. On a serious note though, safety is a big concern here, and I've seen entire vehicles and shops covered in these weird grills to deter the attackers. If you are an independent traveler, I would recommend asking your guest house owners or the hotels, and if they say don't go anywhere on a PMV or don't do anything, please avoid that, because it could have a serious impact. It just is that you could be at the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a lot of tribal warfare that goes on and you could get caught in it. Be very careful. Port Moresby is a different city, however, and a lot of this doesn't apply there. It's quite a violent city. Keep yourself safe and go around with someone. And actually, don't spend a lot of time there. There's not much to do. Let me tell you about SIM cards and internet in Papua New Guinea. There's 3 providers here. I chose Digicel, and they all have their stalls at the airport in the arrival area in Port Moresby, where you will land, no doubt. And they also have it outside in the parking. So I chose Digicel because that's what I was recommended, and apparently that has the best coverage, although calling it the best is really, digging into my heart. Internet is pretty bad here. Most of the time you will see 4G connectivity, but it barely, it works, but it's not the best. You go into a building and then it just goes to 3G. In the evenings things don't work either. By the way, internet packages here are also fragmented to morning time and then evening time. Similarly, Wi-Fi is pretty rare. It's only in the big establishments, big hotels, and it's only reserved for the guests who stay there, not even the visiting guests. Good luck to you if you plan on working here. You're gonna have a fantastic time trying to look for Wi-Fi and internet. Let's talk about the thing most difficult to find in Papua New Guinea. I'm talking about food. Please bring plenty of snacks with you. The food here is really simple. Most of the people in highlands, they just eat like greens and sweet potatoes. Most of them just eat one meal a day. There are tons of fruits here. Pineapples are amazing. Strawberries are great here. So those things are great. But like normal food is quite hard to find. Food is also quite bland. So what you'll find here is a lot of taro. You will find a lot of sweet potatoes, rice, and a lot of bland vegetables. Boiled chicken. There's no salt. There's no spices here. So yeah, food is a little bit of a complicated issue here. But you must try 2 things that I really liked. One is a mumu. I couldn't find it in the highlands, so I had to try it in Port Moresby. There's a mumu restaurant. The second one is gallop nuts, and they are absolutely delicious. It's kind of halfway between coconut and almonds, and they are really delicious. Please bring plenty of snacks with you. If you're vegetarian or vegan, you're gonna have a good time here. The diversity of life is absolutely incredible in Papua New Guinea. There are thousands of species that have completely been undiscovered so far. There's a good chance when you're looking at a flower or a bird or an animal, it's not been discovered yet. So it's a chance for you to be a true discoverer and an explorer. So I took photos of all the beautiful flowers I really loved, and I'm absolutely in love with this place. It's also a chance for you to explore new places here because there's so many that the foreigners have not seen before. The best way to do that is ask the locals, go around with them. You'll find a few in my videos. The rest is for you to explore. It took a lot of hard work to make this video. If you want to help me, don't forget to like and subscribe because that's how the YouTube algorithm helps promote my videos. Flights get cancelled here a lot, and there are a lot of things that are completely out of control. So I would highly recommend you keep 2 to 3 days buffer when you come to Papua New Guinea, and that will ensure you have a good time. Otherwise, you will be really frustrated. I am telling you in advance. Tourism is still in its infancy in Papua New Guinea. So there's 2 things here. 1, please work with the locals because the resorts, all these fancy places, they pay the minimum wage and they take the rest of it away out of the country. Secondly, when you work with the locals, please be patient and calm because a lot of them have no training or resources and they're trying their best. So I gave them a few suggestions with the guides I worked with and they were incredibly nice. They took all of that on board and that makes me really, really happy because I feel like I'm giving something back. Familiarize yourself with the PNG hour. That means things usually happen at least an hour later than the stated time. Factor that in and you will have a much better time here. Google Maps is mostly wrong, not only about directions but all the information. So if you're looking for things, you need to download maps.me. In Papua New Guinea, you never do anything alone. There will always be locals around. This is just practical advice. If you want to find out more about destinations and what to do, click on the link above and you will find my Papua New Guinea playlist there.